You, hey, that was really weird because that was the longest time that we waited to like have that little pause between hitting the button and actually doing the show. That was a really long one. AT&T hates us. Welcome to the show. This is Mistress of Reads. You've come to the darker corner of booktube, but that's okay. You're one of us. So this is a show about books and sexy time books and regular books as well. Urban fantasy. I think we read a little bit of sci-fi as well. I did last week with the zombie book, a little sci-fi, fiction. We've read, we read everything and we talk about it, but not just to talk about movies, comic books. We haven't talked about comic books in a while. We haven't talked about manga in a while, but we're probably gonna swing back to that. But right now we're in a some sort of comic book glut. Now I have on my show. It has been really the choir. The choir we have on our show is Vu, and I'm your host. Oh, thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna hit the music. Yay! It is June 5th. Yes. Because I didn't know.
She also loses years, y'all.
I do lose years. I lose months, years. I was at the DMV and I lost a couple years. I was like, Lord.
Yeah, did you ever get your license fixed? I wondered about that. You never gave me a follow-up.
I didn't get my license fixed. I'm still working on it.
Oh, Lord.
The DMV is in a really bad location in Sacramento, and there's another DMV, but it's a really rude DMV. No offense to DMV workers. It's just that I don't want that experience. So what I'm doing is I'm rotating out, and I got an extra, 30 or 40 days. So then I'm going to wait, 30 or 40 days to actually get it done because I'm terrible with that DMV stuff.
I still have to get the kids' classes set up so that she can take her written test.
Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of the kid, this is out of order of the show. We're out of order now. I saw that Rick Bryan had a Viking book. Did she read it?
Yeah.
Did she like that book? Because is she aged out?
I didn't even like the book.
Oh, I have the audiobook now. I went to the library and picked it up.
The problem is that the beginning really drags on, and it takes more than half the book to get to the meat of the story.
Would you read the series?
I don't think so.
Because you remember his last book, the one with the all the young Olympians from the Pantheon, the Roman Pantheon, which is technically the Greek Pantheon at the same time. I didn't like the way that book started turning towards the end. It just sort of dragged and dragged and dragged.
Well, it's just the Red Pyramid series. I think it's Chronicles of Cain.
Yes.
It was actually pretty good, but you could see that he was writing himself into a corner.
I can't remember how Chronicles
I have a cold, so I have to stay liquidated.
I can't remember how Chronicles of Cain ended. Did it end?
Yeah, well, for now. He might bring it back.
Because I sort of saw him writing about Chronicles of Cain in the last two books of the of the really mixed series. I feel like what he wants to do is create a super series with Chronicles of Cain, this Viking dudes, and the Roman Pantheon people all in one super adventure. Is that wrong to say that he's trying to create that?
I can see that. I just don't know how he would do it.
Well, if comic books have been doing it for years, I don't know why he can't.
Yeah, but it's usually when they do their super mega adventure, it's a set number, and people don't get lost. But he has a very large cast for each series.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I don't want it. I don't want people to get lost.
I think you're right that people would get lost in his super mega adventure if he did do a super mega adventure. Now, Chronicles of Cain, Rick Riordan is a writer who writes middle school books, and he also writes another adventure that I really don't like. But he's really good with these male lead adventure books. in that same sort of Harry Potter vein, but with better action sequences. I want to say.
I really loved the Chronicles of Kane. One, it was like the first book of its type where the leads were multicultural. Because
And it
you
was
don't,
outside the
yeah.
regular pantheon that you normally see, which is Greek.
Yeah, it was Egyptian, which was pretty awesome. And Lily and I actually had a real kick out of the series. We
Yeah,
really
no.
enjoyed it a lot.
I actually thought the Kane series was in a way better than the Lightning Thief series, which is, I forgot the full name of it, but the beginning first book is Lightning Thief.
Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Thank you. Percy, I thought it was better than the Percy Jackson series because, in a way, the Percy Jackson series was very by rote. Percy Jackson would go out, he would go on his little adventure. He would go, you would meet 2 to 3 people from the storybook, of the Greek Chronicles, of these stories, the adventures of Greek Chronicles. And then he'd sort of get, 1 to 2 items from those Greek Chronicle people who would help him in the final battle moment of the book. And that was the way each book was laid out. And it got sort of rote and annoying until the last couple of books where, you had your big battle scenes. And, big twist to the plot, but it was like, I love the series. At the same time, I was disappointed in the complexity of the series. Because the complexity of the series, when you have Harry Potter, the complexity of emotion of Harry Potter actually advanced, even though I hated when he got emo. But it felt like the character aged and the complexity of the emotions between the characters aged. You don't get really complexity of emotion of Percy Jackson series until the next series where he's not even the main character. And even then, it's not really well done because it's almost like he doesn't know what to do with them. And of course, the characters themselves don't know what to do with themselves. But it doesn't feel like he has confidence in that age bracket when he writes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. God.
She's in a dungeon and she just failed.
I didn't fail. I died doing something stupid. And I'm trying not to curse. I'm working on that. I just got raised in the ground AoE.
There you go.
Oh my
adventurous.
God. Oh.
But what disappoints me is that I'm gonna go ahead and read the Viking thing because I actually have the physical disc copy. Because you know how sometimes when you have you got like audiobooks and Audible, like I always get the audiobook version of it, the step down version of it from Audible, like when I have old files, and I always get the step down version, which is 64-bit or something like 64K or something like that, and those ones cause ear fatigue. So I wanted to go to the library and I was going to get the full disc copy, which is much higher res. And I was like, woo, higher res. But
that would raise me.
I'm disappointed is what I'm saying. I'm disappointed. I haven't even started. I'm disappointed. But you know what? I might like it where you guys don't. We've had that situation before. I'm a weird reader. I love world building. Okay. So let's get back. Oh, right. Hot and sticky. Okay, I wanted to talk about Hot and Sticky, which this wasn't really the best transition in the world, so deal with it. So Hot and Sticky is a write 500 words until you finish the novel this summer, and that's pretty much the gist of the whole entire thing. I've been posting on it somewhat regularly on Twitter, on the Twitter account, pretty much saying I'm totally failing at this Hot and Sticky challenge, but woo! So I'll try to release a vlog of the week of my Hot and Sticky challenge, which is totally filled with non-writing Hot and Sticky because that's what I pretty much have been struggling every day to do the 500. But more to come there. I just wanted to make sure I talked about it here before, I didn't talk about it. So, before I didn't talk about it. Okay, so what are you reading?
Well, I mentioned last week I finished Chronicles of Nick.
Yes.
And I went back to book 2 of Mercy Thompson. So like I'm like halfway there, plus halfway through book 4 of Chicagoland.
How are you feeling about Mercy Thompson?
I realized why I went back to Mercy Thompson so much quicker than not Mercy Thompson. Went back to Chicagoland so much quicker than Mercy Thompson. Is Chicagoland is kind of like candy. It's you can devour it and keep devouring it and num. But Mercy, you have to listen to Mercy or read it more deeply and actually like, dig into it to really truly enjoy it and understand it. Oh. And at the time, all I wanted was candy. Mm-hmm. But now I'm back with Mercy, and I really do like the complexity of it.
I'd say that the one failing of the Chicagoland series, is that Merritt is a little too flighty sometimes. Besides her daddy issues, she's a little too flighty sometimes, which is annoying. Like, will he, won't he? Will he, won't he? And it's constantly like that. And other characters feed into that when she should be going out into that world and experiencing it. Because the world building isn't as strong. When I think that the Chicagoland Vampire series world is just as strong as Mercy Thompson, except for Mercy Thompson spends a lot less time on will he, won't he love me, and more time on what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm about to get yelled at by the tank for dying 4 times.
So the Mercy Thompson series is less PNR romance, urban fantasy type stuff, and more urban fantasy. Whereas Chicagoland, I feel, is too, it's more urban fantasy than it is PNR. But at the same time, PNR being paranormal romance, but it's a little too close to the PNR, which I'm starting to really not like, with the exception of Nalini Singh, which you hate.
I don't hate her. Why do you always want to use strong adjectives with me? I don't hate her. I don't get her.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. Okay. But
I don't feel as strongly about things as you do.
But Nalini Singh, with the exception of Nalini Singh, she's probably like, I love her. I love her worlds. Her worlds and her characters are interesting because she's outside of she's outside of the genre. When, she's not making vampire sparkle and shit, but she is outside the vampire angel, all kinds of, genre type things. She's outside of that. And, I don't mind being outside of it. I just want to be happy when you're outside of it. I don't want to just, want to puke on the book like I did with the Twilight series. So, sorry.
Oh, that series fucking irritated the hell out of me. And like all the little girls like around my daughter's age was like, hey, I want to read that book. And I was like, the hell you will.
I don't know how that book happened. Like, we were trying to, I think one day I was on the phone with you and we were trying to deconstruct why Twilight was so popular. Do you remember? And I said Stephen King described the book as little girls not able to deal with their emotions yet or their sexuality, and because it gave so much tingles, it kind of sparked their intrigue for the tingles.
Yeah.
I don't think I explained it as well as I did the first time, but you know what I mean? It's like,
it was something that was like dark and forbidden, and there was sexuality that little girls haven't experienced yet, so they're just all like, candy.
And it was the tail end of the Harry Potter, like, because my age
Harry Potter, Angel, and Buffy.
Yeah, my age group was the Harry Potter. We started Harry Potter at book 1 initially, and then we were maybe 12, 10 years old when the Harry Potter series started. But they were like the tail end Harry Potter kids who had almost all the books lined up for them already, and they were on like book like 5 or 6, Twilight initially came out. So these kids had all the Harry Potter books, like up to 4 or something like that, 4 or 5. You know, it was that time of, you know.
6 came out when Lily was 6 months old.
Jeez.
So I know it because Thomas got it for me the day it came out, and I was reading it to her while she was in my belly.
I feel old. My reading choices feel old too.
Not 6 months old, 6 months in the belly. So so she wasn't even born yet when it was 6 was Goblet of Fire, correct?
Yeah. Guys, Goblet of Fire was the best book though.
I agree.
Above all, the best book. But so sorry. I just started reading. You know, there's buzz at the Captain Marvel that they want Brie Larson to play Captain Marvel.
I saw that on BuzzFeed.
What? I saw that just pumping through my feed, and I'm like, what? Brie Larson?
I just don't feel it.
I think that they should skip over Captain Marvel and instead bring in Miss Marvel, because I think that's be much more pivotal. Miss Marvel would be much more pivotal to the series itself. Plus, Miss Marvel is currently a young girl, Camilla Khan. Camilla Khan. I love the name Camilla.
I wonder if they're going to do that whole storyline with Miss Marvel and Rogue.
If they said that Miss Marvel is a mantle now. Miss Marvel is a mantle. So if Miss Marvel is a mantle, the original Marvel can be taken out by Rogue, and then this chick can gain the mantle, Camille Khan. And then you can have Miss Marvel active, and then Rogue has Miss Marvel's power, the other Miss Marvel power. And it all works out. Everybody's happy. I miss Rogue. Do you miss Rogue?
A little.
She was like one.
I miss Gambit.
Rogue is one of the most complex characters in the series, and I just love Rogue. I love the possibility of Rogue. I just dig it. And I wish that Wolverine would finally just get Jean. Is it too much to ask that?
I don't want that.
I hate Scott.
He has to. Well, he has to quote unquote suffer.
But I hate Scott. I wish that Scott.
Well, you know, if we go by the movies, the comic books, doesn't she kill him after a while any damn way?
She kills Scott? I think so. I can't remember. I think
but okay, so I figured out why this dungeon is blowing balls. Oh my god. The tank is tarted and the healer's tarted. Well, I just watched the tank almost die like 3 times on trash mobs.
Well, maybe he's missing a piece of gear. Okay. Let's see. So
maybe he doesn't know his class. I've had that happen.
It's a possibility. So you read Chicagoland, you read Nick, which you like. You said you like Nick. You like the new Nick book, correct?
Yeah. I just, in a way, I think she kind of copped out on having like her first genuine dark hunter gay couple. But I can understand why she did it that way, because it was pretty much the only way to explain the rest of the story. But I don't want to give any spoilers. That's why I'm not trying to. I'm talking around it. But everyone was wondering, what was the relationship between Jared and Jaden? And you find out that relationship in the most recent Chronicles of Nick. But it's like, I like the whole Chronicles of Nick series. You're definitely meeting a different Nick Gaucher than you've met in the earlier Dark Hunter books. And I dig that about him altogether. And also, Chronicles of Nick makes that one fucking book that I hate in the whole Dark Hunter series, the one that takes place in Seattle, not exist. Because it's a changing the future kind of series. So Katrina may have still happened, but that ludicrousness that happened in Seattle.
Do you need to actually have read all the or a large portion of the Dark Hunter books in order to really appreciate Nick?
No. The way she wrote Chronicles of Nick, it can be a complete standalone series. It's actually a YA series.
Okay.
Well, that's good. The Chronicles of Nick books. She likes the snarky banter, and because it's teenagers. You're dealing with the teenage versions of almost everyone. Well, except for Ashron, because he's a bajillion years old. But so you get to see like the younger Peltiers. And if you've read Dark Hunters thus far, you get to see Mama Bear and Papa Bear Peltier again.
That's cool. I didn't like them though.
I liked what they represented.
I didn't like what they did though.
What do you mean?
I remember not liking them.
But why? You said what they did.
I don't know. I have to go back and look at my notes from those books to remember exactly what I didn't like about them. But I remember not liking them. Okay.
They represent a genuine, a family within a true family within the Dark Hunter universe. When there's so many dysfunctional and fucked up families within the Dark Hunter universe, the Peltiers are the only ones that isn't dysfunctional or fucked up.
All right. I was looking at the popular urban fantasy series tag on Goodreads, and did you know that Sean McGuire, which did the Toby, what is it?
October Day.
Yeah, October Day. Thank you. October Day series. She has another series.
She has 2 other series.
I didn't know that.
Indexing and the other one, encrypted. Indexing and encrypted.
Did you read her other series?
Yeah, I did.
Good, bad, ugly?
I didn't really care for indexing. At all. I didn't care for book 1 or book 2. The encrypteds, I need to give it a genuine chance again. Because I listened to it. I listened to the audiobook right after finishing the latest October Day. And when you really love the book before, anything else tends to be lackluster if it goes away from your formula. So I should have cleansed my palate before going to it.
Probably. Yeah. Probably.
See, I'm looking at an almost dead tank. I've been looking at an almost dead tank this whole damn time, and we're on trash. And I think she's only casting 1 spell again.
Can you just kick the healer or kick the tank?
No one's gonna kick the healer. She's wearing a pretty little wedding dress, which means most likely these fucking idiots who've never touched a chick before is to be like, no. I always end up partying with the ditzy chick when my character is the chick with dreadlocks wearing a suit. I really am. I have the suit and the pimp hat.
There you go. Okay. So I started to read this series. I started reading because a couple of years ago I gave up YA. I just couldn't do it anymore because you remember that series where 5-6 years ago where every single YA had a love triangle?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
any YA, no matter what it was always a love triangle. And then you had the stupid people come online, and then they put team did and no, I'm team did. And I was like, ugh, can we just be
Like
team
Team
plot?
Jacob and Dean Edward.
Yeah, Jacob and Edward, or team. Every book had a team this, team that, and I'm like, and I just couldn't take anymore because there was no plot. And I also really disliked the indecisiveness of chicks. I
Yeah.
really hated the indecisiveness of the chicks. So I gave up. Why? Now I've gone back. Because there's a whole I it just came to the realization that there's a whole couple of good, there's possibly 5 to 6 good series we'll see of urban fantasy and drama and other things that I've missed out on because I've been avoiding those books. And so I want to kind of read and see what I can find. So if you see me reading classic books on Goodreads, that's what I'm doing. And I just missed out on them, and it's new to me. So if you hear me raving about, they're like, isn't that book old? I think I already read that in 5, 6 years. That's why. I just, it just played out that way. I'm also getting ready to read Rick Riordan's book I told you about before, and also the other Rick Riordan book that just came out, the Trials of Apollo series. I started that too. So I've got both books. I'm gonna burn them to disc. I'm gonna burn them into my iTunes library and then return the disc to the library. And that's also me.
Cool with Apollo again, thanks to Sherilyn Kenyon's books.
I know she read it. She totally read it. Did she?
I can't look at him. I can't. No more.
I can't stand. You know who I can't stand as well? I can't stand Artemis these days.
You know what? I get Artemis a little bit more now. I do.
No, I hate her. I hate her.
Half brother. Yeah, to think about it, she was gonna be damaged with a brother like Apollo.
True, but I hate her all the same.
She's gotten better. She has gotten better. Okay,
so let me read you the Rick Riordan, the Higgs Oracle. This might reboot your. This is a Apollo reboot. How do you punish an immortal? By making him human. After angering his father Zeus, the god Apollo is cast down from Olympus. Weak and disoriented, he lands in the city of New York as a regular teenage boy. Now, without his godly powers, the 4,000-year-old deity must learn to survive in the modern world until he can find some way to regain Zeus's favor. But Apollo has many enemies, gods, monsters, and mortals who would love to see the former Olympian permanently destroyed. Apollo needs help, and he can think of only one place to go, an enclave of modern demigods known as Half-Blood Camp. So he's off to Camp Half-Blood.
You know, that's
actually... The series has actually huge ratings right now.
Huh.
It's at, Goodreads, Goodreads don't give a fuck. That should totally be like a thing. Goodreads don't give a fuck. Because on Amazon, you get a lot of people being Amazoning, and sometimes you get, you have to separate from Amazon verified from Amazon.
Yeah.
And they'll mark something 4 stars and 5 stars that weren't really good. And on Goodreads, you'll see them 3 stars, 3.5, and they explain why. So I'm really excited about this series.
Son of a.
What's up, yo?
I just wasted my limit break.
Did Lily and you guys read the Percy Jackson Chronicles of Kane crossover books? I just found them.
No, but she has all first edition of the Percy Jackson books, and she has all the first edition and the audio books for the Chronicles of Kane, but not the crossovers.
Maybe I don't know if she's aged out yet, but she should read the crossovers and tell me how it goes. But
that's gonna work as well as when you're trying to get her to read Harry Potter.
I know it is. I know. But I want to reread Harry Potter. I want to have somebody to talk to about it.
He is contrary by nature.
I don't know how to deal with teenage girls. Although they did get the Asgardian Gods of Asgard, they gave a high score. I think they just really like Rick Riordan on Goodreads. So never mind about that Goodreads don't give a fuck, because I guess they love Rick Riordan on Goodreads.
I really didn't care for the Asgard one. Like, the first book was just too much time was spent in building up that world. Way too much time was spent building it up, and it was just driving me up the wall. I'm like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And
Did
then,
you
like,
read
we
the
get
last
there,
one?
and it's like, ugh.
Did you read the Roman series?
Yeah. Heroes of Olympus.
Did you feel like there wasn't enough time in the first book spent to what the fuck we're doing here?
Well, that was the point. It was supposed to build up a suspense.
Yeah, I kind of got, the deeper and deeper in the series I got, the more frustrating I felt, because I didn't understand people's motivations to do the things they were doing.
Agency took way too long building up the world. In Chronicles of Kane, he got to it much faster than he got
Efficiently.
into any of them.
He was also efficient with it. Chronicles of Kane, the Kane Society, it made sense because he's an outsider. But the problem with the whole, the last series before that.
They are outsider.
Yeah, the Kanes are outsiders. And the Kanes are outsiders. They're not part of the main group, whereas when you deal with, what are those people called? The Percy Jackson series, the Olympian God series with the Romans.
Yeah, the demigods.
Yeah, the demigods. Let me look it up. I'm looking at the thing right now. I can just hit the back button and actually look it up and not be an asshole about it. But you know what? If you're taking a break from cursing, I'll take a break from cursing. I'm going to be a part of the solution.
I also would like to be able to monetize more videos. So, yes, I'm going to try not to curse as much, which is hard to do when you're playing video games. Okay. But we made a rule on Jester's Ball not to talk about naughty bits.
No, this is Mistress of Reads. We're talking about naughty bits. the heroes of the Olympics.
As we talk about them on here.
Yeah, you just get your fill over here. The Heroes of the Olympians is one with the Roman gods. Now, the Roman version of the Greek gods, and I actually love the way he played that whole series with the Roman gods, being a mirror of themselves and in conflict. I loved all that. It's just that, Percy Jackson and
they are still two distinctly separate pantheons on their own. So you can't keep saying the Roman version of the Greek gods. It's still a completely separate pantheon.
Well, the way that the Heroes of Olympus is that they actually are flipping back and forth like their personality disorders.
Yeah,
I'm talking about in that universe. I'm not talking about
in the real world.
Well,
stuff
or in our magical fantasy world, Our magical fantasy world.
To people, this is still like a religious thing for them.
Okay. Well, in the religious world, technically speaking,
there are people that still worship these gods.
Technically speaking, just like the god, just like Christianity is on the back of, paganism, so is the Roman gods so is the Greek gods to the Romans, because they stand, Rome is known for their ability to cannibalize other religions and bring it up. That's how Rome was wrong. But anyways, it's a whole different conversation. The Heroes of the Olympians, right? Okay, so in the Heroes and the Olympians, they treat it like it's a personality disorder, opposed to pseudo-religionish, overtones.
Because their aspects, Roman versus Greek, are completely different.
They are completely different, but they're still encapsulated in one being, super being. So they're saying that this is a piece of that super being, and then it goes to another place when they're facing that one. So when you have a Greek child and a Greek demigod child and what is that thing called? A Roman demigod child, that it causes errors in the machine You know, when they have them standing in front of each other because the god is trying to be both beings at the same time when they technically can't, which is why that they're constantly at war. Which I thought was an interesting premise in itself because I could see how that could create battle and stuff like that. You know, I actually really, really dug the series. It's just that, you know, I felt like Rome was never given birth in the Heroes of the Olympian. Whereas in the Percy Jackson series, you know, the Greek gods were given birth. But in the Heroes of Olympia, the Roman gods he never gave birth. He never gave really birth to the Roman gods or the way Rome, you know, was set up. Because in the Heroes of Olympians, I'm sorry to go back on this.
He only mentioned even a little bit. Well, I can't say a little bit, but he did flashes. He did flashes of Romulus and Remus, but
he never built their society, is what I'm saying. And that's the problem, is because their society is so important because the Greek kids at the end of Half-Blood Hill just, you know, they get picked off, you know, like fucking candy. Because they leave Half-Blood Hill and they don't become, a lot of them don't become grown-ups if they're too strong, like Percy. Whereas the Heroes of the Olympians, you know, their kids actually...
Wait, what am I missing here? Because I read this series. Why is Percy never becoming a grown-up?
Percy becomes a grown-up, but the reason why other kids from Half-Blood Hill who are part of the big three and, you know, besides the prophecy and shit like that, is that when they leave when they leave Half-Blood at 18 or whatever, they have no refuge. So they are attacked by everyone. It's very hard for them to go to college and live a normal life.
I thought they were talking about like, in general, like they don't grow. I'm like, wait a minute.
Huh? No, they have too much power, so they're still
adulthood.
Yeah. They're still attracting. You know, they're still attracting creatures and stuff. Their power doesn't wane. You know, that's the reason why Percy's mom hid him in the stink of the worst human being known to man. You know, smart. You know, and I think that's probably what a lot of these Olympians, you know, these Greek style Olympians have been doing, is hooking up with really just losers and people who are so normal that they hide their stink in them. But whereas the Heroes of the Olympians, the Roman god children actually create a half-blood society. You know, where these kids, you know, third, fourth generation, they go off to college, they live their lives, and Half-Blood, and you know, it would turn Half-Blood Hill and Half-Blood Camp into a village opposed to just a camp people visit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's you know, that would let that universe grow up. And that's what he needed for his book. He needed that universe to grow up. And he couldn't get that universe. And because he never really built the Roman society in that book, it ruined the potential of the book itself, is what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We only glaze through that society quickly and then let's go on our adventure. But we actually understood, and keep in mind, in this adventure, they don't really return home that much. So unlike you know, the grounding you get when Harry Potter returns to, you know, from his Muggle establishment back to his home every year, and Percy, almost every single book, returns back to the camp, you get how that society actually runs and works. And then he does whatever adventurous thing he was going to do anyways. You know, whether it be in the school itself or on the camp itself. You know, there's a societal, you know, the society itself built. Whereas in this, you know, in the Roman society, we don't get any of that. And that's where it just gets confusing and bogged down, and there's problems there. I'm not saying it's not a bad story. I'm saying that I'm thinking of this whole entire thing as, I stopped thinking of Rick Riordan's book as a regular novel. I think of it as more like a really big comic. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for that, you need society building. You need certain things. It's even harder thing to pull off what Rick Riordan does, and you know what even J.K. Rowling is doing, because
I have a whole bunch of crap on me.
Because you have to build more than you have to do even in a long running fantasy series. No, I'm not talking to you, Kim Harrison. I hate you.
He is still full of
That was just random.
hate over Kim Harrison, and there's nothing that can be done about it.
This was that
Never
Kim
going
Harrison
away.
comment was so random, wasn't it?
It was, but it's hilarious, so it's okay.
It's well put, though. You know what I mean? Because she had a long-running series. She did a lot of wonderful building, and then she was like, "Quick, let me get some dick in the pussy. Let me, quick. We gotta make sure." We gotta make sure whatever random male is in this book gets to fuck this bitch.
Oh my goodness! It's like, wait, it's male, it's single, and it's straight. Oh, that's for Rachel Morgan.
We need it. I understand that what she was trying to do was provide a sex scene in every book. I get it.
Well, no, because there was like whole books where she wasn't having sex scenes.
That's true. And the novellas too. But it felt like that's what she was trying to accomplish: as many sex scenes, as many one sex scene scenes, and as many books as she could. Because sex scenes help the book, supposedly. Really? How'd that one in the death pit go?
Oh my goodness, that was fucking ludicrous.
With the ghost.
She just brought him to life just so that Rachel Morgan could fuck a ghost. That's pretty much the gist of it.
It doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense. You know, the worst part is I love the Rachel Morgan series.
Almost dead.
I love the Rachel Morgan series.
I loved Kristen, and she took Kristen away from us. How is the tank almost dead and this bitch wants the DPS? Oh my god. See, this is why you shouldn't let me play video games.
No, it's your choice. Okay.
I have a dead tank and a healer that decided to cast Holy, because that was okay. That was acceptable behavior.
Okay, but
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But what I'm trying to say overall is I've just come to the realization there's a whole, because I was having a little bit of a book panic. If you couldn't tell last week, I had a bit of a book panic, thinking that there wasn't books that I could read until, you know, Iona Andrews, who has a new book, by the way. The couple has a new book series. Came out with their new book, which I haven't read because I don't know if I'm on strike yet. I don't know if I'm striking that series. I wasn't going to talk about it. Did we make an agreement we weren't going to talk about it?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
You woke me up out of a nap to flip out about this, so please have fun with it.
God, you make it like it's the greatest of crimes.
No, hey, my nap time is important.
Yes, but
I quit smoking. At least give me fucking naps.
Iona Andrews, and then you know her name. You know the name they pick. It like wreaks havoc. Reading it, it wreaks havoc on my dyslexia. It just wreaks havoc. It's the IL. It just wreaks havoc. I wish sometimes I wish the internet would do a different font. Just do the I font so I can just so my brain can be okay sometimes.
Yes, because it's totally the internet's fault.
No, it's my brain's fault. But it drives me nuts. I actually get a physical feeling from it. But so recently we had the drop of the Grey Wolf series, which is super, super popular. It's actually very popular for one of our side series. It did very well considering it's a novella. But guess what novella did even better than the Grey Wolf series?
What?
She's recently started a new series called the Alpha series. It originally debuted in like a short story, but she's breaking it out to be an actual novel now. The original one was launched the original version of it was in the. I read the original one way back when in the Nalini Singh Darkness, Angels of Darkness, Guild Hunter, the Guardians, and Samarias, and it was like one of those big, group books that they do because they want to like take their super audience and get their super audience to marry their other super, and that was way back in 2011. Now, if you don't remember, 2011 for Iona Andrews was also around the time when the Edge series was going on.
Yeah.
The series, I had to name the Edge series because normally I just say, the series that shall not be named.
Yeah, because you are full of hate for that series. I don't blame you.
Venom, just can't believe it. I bought physical copies of the first 3 books. Did I tell you that? I actually bought the first 3 books.
Yeah, did. Okay. I spent Audible credits on those books. I feel, and that was before they were willing to give you your money back for a crappy book. Not that I find that the Andrews writing is crappy, just that book. Serious.
Well, this is sort of like of the thread of Edge meets the Clean Sweep series.
Okay,
Edge meets the Clean Sweep series, but we don't know if they're gonna follow this one character. Honestly, I think that Iona Andrews couple, which is a man and a wife together, and they write together. I think they would be fine with any series, no matter how much we might hate it. It would still read like a good series as long as they didn't switch up characters. The problem with the Iona Andrews couples is their worlds are always way too big. Which you can't pull off that kind of bigness unless you're Sherilyn Kenyon. You can't pull off of that kind of world bigness while switching characters and having to build those characters again. The only one I've actually seen accomplish that same bigness of world as well as switching characters is Nalini Singh and Sherilyn Kenyon. But the reason why they pulled that off is in the first book, they had so many characters and they keep rotating those characters in. And I don't know how Nalini Singh pulled it off, but she pulled it off for like 15 books in the Dark Hunters, in the Sci series, which is a sci-fi meets fantasy book. And then, Sherilyn Kenyon pulled it off in her Dark Hunter series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how, I don't even know. I don't understand the mechanics of how it got done, but I always felt like those 2 worlds, I know you didn't read the other one yet. You don't have to read it. I'm not going to, there's no punishment game for it.
Punishment games. I love punishment games.
You sound a little too happy there.
We have this whole plan for Fan Fest of doing punishment games. So, yeah, I love them. I used to play them with Lily when she was younger. Now she knows better.
Oh, well, you win. But the origins of the alphas is like, she has a really nice name, Alphas. It makes you think alpha. You know how much we love alpha. It's a stark, seductive tale of a world torn asunder by supernatural gifts and irresistible passions. This is going to be super PNR. Super PNR. Katrina Tucker is driving a van of children home from a field trip when an unplanned detour to a seemingly ordinary rest stop changes her life. Sounds very cutting edge, doesn't it? I mean, very edge series, doesn't it? There she witnesses a world beyond human sight, a frightful, powerful, and chaos where she is in a death grip before an irresistible, dangerous male saves her, only to take her captive. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, for she's a rare commodity in the shadowy realm she entered. So she's in a violent civil war where those with inhuman power strive to destroy those without it, with mercy, and it becomes all too clear that she must make a choice to submit and become a pawn, or take hold of her own destiny, fight for survival against impossible odds. Excuse me. So this originally came out in 2011, as I said before. I actually read it. I didn't think it was a bad book. It's just very PNR-y. But they're actually going to spin this out and start creating it as a series, it looks like. So expect even slower books. You know that series you've been wanting to read from them? This is probably why it's been pushed back, because they're fucking around with this book.
But I loved Hidden Legacy, and it was like crazy ass popular too.
No, because it's Yoda Andrews, so therefore they have to spend most of their time working on the series that doesn't pay them money. Can't you tell from the Edge series?
I would like to pretend that series didn't happen.
They've got to work on the series that makes them more money. Although it's, you know what the weird thing is? Like, the Clean Sweep series is somewhat critically acclaimed. Like, I haven't met a critic who doesn't like the Clean Sweep series. Yet the Edge series and those type of Edge series ilk is the one where they dump most of their time in. You remember the Kinsman series?
Yeah.
It's like, you remember the Kinsman series? Like, they took the hint really quick that this isn't popular. Like, there was like, hint, this isn't working. yeah. With the Edge series, they're like, just a couple more bucks.
Can't get along.
Evil. I don't know why I'm deriving so much joy from this, because I was so upset originally. Now it's just funny to me. It's like, please, let's just write the series that everybody can't stand and nobody cares about.
All right. That was oh shit.
Let's push Hidden the Legacy book back to 2017, because God knows we gotta write the alphas, kid. God, they have terrible book covers. Terrible. Just terrible book covers.
There have been worse book covers out there. Much, much worse.
I don't know, but they kind of take the cake. There has to be somebody they know who's a friend of the series or something that they keep. A friend of the series. Somebody who's their friend who does these awful covers. Otherwise, why would they keep? Or you know what? They could be doing the covers themselves. It just doesn't look professional. All right, I think that's everything that I read. Oh, Jennifer Epps. I'm reading the Jennifer Epps series. That's also what I'm reading as well. And I'm gonna probably read the Loki's Wolves by the Blackwell's pages. I'm probably gonna read that at some point. So I'm going deep into the middle grade and the YA in the children's booky fantasy fun. So, just so you know, we're having a moment. I needed something. I'm desperate for something to read. I'm desperate. I can't actually work on stuff without something to read and listen to at least. It's very hard for me. So I think we've actually been productive today. What do you think?
I think so.
I think this is the end of the show. But I want to thank you, and heads up on the hot and sticky. Hit us up if you're also doing hot and sticky. I don't know how many people are doing it, but I saw a bunch of people on the hashtag. So hot and sticky, more hot and sticky. Get your 500 words. And thank you so much. Oh, and thank you, Christine, for the reply. Honestly, it was, or for the reply. It's very cool, very cool. Which we will put in another show. So take care today. Have fun. Let me hit the button. And thank you so much for showing up to our show.
Oh my god. Oh, I
Oh,
want
I
to.
didn't put the sound.
I
Wait,
wanted
we're
to
not out.
punch the healer. Hi.
Power. Okay.
Power.
It just want to do the power so we can go out.